News 24. I am your host, Wolf Blazer. As many of you know, the Affordable Care Act is a very controversial subject, and both Liberals and Conservatives cannot seem to find a middle ground. Well, today we have a special guest named Senator Billy Bob of St. Charles, Missouri, who has a solution to the conflict about the Affordable Care Act. Welcome, Senator Billy Bob.
How to do?
So, Senator Billy Bob, what exactly is your proposal to the Missouri Congress?
Well, my idea is to create a new department within the state of Missouri called the Missouri Department of Insurance. This department will be run independently of the federal government's Affordable Care Act. It will basically be a state-run insurance company that offers cheaper insurance plans than the Affordable Care Act, but still follows the guidelines that the Affordable Care Act set in place.
Very interesting idea. How did you come up with this plan?
Well, as you can see, behind me is a piece of art called The Clash of Civilizations. We have with us a clash of two political ideologies, conservatives and liberals. When I was called upon my Senate duties, I heard that State Senator John Lampkin of Missouri had a plan to hinder the Affordable Care Act by penalizing insurance companies if they accepted federal subsidies offered by the ACA by removing their license to be a corporation. When I heard this, I thought to myself, oh Lord God and Jesus, that has to be unconstitutional. Which it is, according to the Supremacy Clause interpreted by the early Supreme Court. Basically, what I wanted to do was create a universal plan that both conservatives and liberals can compromise. And this plan does that by expanding health care coverage to Missouri people while also indirectly hindering the Affordable Care Act.
I see. Now, how exactly does this plan accomplish the goal of hindering the Affordable Care Act?
Well, it accomplishes this goal by the simple process of capitalism. Basically what this plan does is cause the Affordable Care Act to be more expensive than state insurance options, therefore causing more people to sign up for state exchange as opposed to the federal exchange, which will eventually hurt the Affordable Care Act's power over people.
You mentioned that the cost will be lower for Missouri residents. Obviously, as you may know, every law passed by Congress involves some sort of monetary investment in the form of taxes. How will this plan affect residents' taxes?
Taxes will likely increase because, like you said, every law has some expense to it. However, the tax increase will be very little. Like I said earlier, the Missouri Department of Insurance will be run much like a corporation, in the fact that it will try to at least break even with the cost. The only tax increase that Missouri residents will receive is the cost to initiate the corporation. After that, the Missouri Department of Insurance is on its own.
So basically, this plan creates a state-run corporation, much like the Postal Service.
In some ways, yes, it will be run like the Postal Service. However, obviously it is different in the fact that it gives people insurance instead of mail.
Very interesting. Now, what would you say about the unemployment this plan may cause? Like you said, the Missouri Department of Insurance will hinder the ACA by making coverage plans cheaper than what it has to offer. Will this not cause some insurance companies to go under?
That's a very good question. And the reason insurance companies will not go under is because they are already well established and have well funded by loyal customers. The Affordable Care Act, however, is a much newer system with much fewer loyal customers. And this plan will affect the influx of new customers who didn't have insurance before, causing the ACA to be hurt, but not necessarily other corporations.
One more question. Wouldn't the plan you propose create more division within the government on federal and state levels?
Not necessarily. What my plan does is simply create a better way for Missourians to access health care without having to deal with the issues of the Affordable Care Act and private insurance companies, because it will give the Missourians another option from which they can choose their health care coverage plans. The federal government would not be more divided simply because this policy follows all the guidelines that are set in stone by the Affordable Care Act.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have. Thank you, Senator Billy Bob, for coming to us today with your plan.
It was my kindest pleasure, sir.
According to another study done by the Galloping poll, Americans tend to think everything causes cancer. More on that after the break.